Hey everyone, welcome back to Calmsden Farm for episode 10 of our Let's Play series. Yes, we've finally managed to make it to double figures on the episodes on here, long overdue, but we are there. So today's plan is to buy the field 31, which is also the sheep pasture, so we'll do that straight away. So this is 110,352, which we can currently afford. So we're going to buy that. So we now own. Oh, I've gone back off. So we now own the sheep pasture. So we can start getting some sheep. But before we do get any sheep, I'm going to cut that field for grass, for hay, and then we'll have plenty of hay for the sheep and the cows. I'm also going to cut the 3 grass fields we own up here, but I'll probably do those like off camera. One thing I do need to do is the chicken pasture. We bought that we bought chickens last time, and I did mention that I forgot to remove that, so I need to deduct 3,984 to actually pay for that. So let's just do that quickly. So minus 3,984. Yeah, I did say I'd deduct the money because I forgot to remove that when I changed onto the new save game. One thing I didn't notice as well last time, probably because I didn't scroll down this part of the map, but we did own field 16 as well. So I've now removed that, and as you must see, there's 2 tractors in the field down there. I came on here to, I wanted to try and record this episode last Friday, and it was just far too hot in the office with how the weather's been to not be able to have the air conditioning on and try and record. So I did the 2 contracts. I did the contract on field 13, apart from that little bit, and the one on 16, so we can complete those. So it's 36,220 for field 13 minus the borrowing the equipment cost, and then field 16 was 21,894. Again, we borrowed the equipment for that so we can get them done a bit quicker. So it's another 3,450 off that, but still 18,444 for that one and 30,513 for that. So we'll collect those 2. So that does give us a little bit more money now, so we can actually buy a few sheep when we get this field sorted. So we'll jump in the Massey and get the mower. And we'll get our mower hooked up, and then we'll head down to the sheep pasture. And we'll get that cut. So that'll be the first job, is to obviously get the grass cut, and then we can get that tedded, get it windrowed, baled up, and then we'll get the bales moved out of the way. And then we can look at buying a few sheep. So I think we can go through, we go this way and then take a sharp left here. Oh, if I don't crash into that building, my bad. Not allowing for the front weight then. We'll go through this gate into our new field. I'll get the mower unfolded. We'll shut this gate as well, so it's not in the way. Now I think, as I mentioned last time as well, the our environmental score was being reduced. I've got this up to 72 now. I think we was down 50 something, where you can see we've dropped a little bit now we've bought this field. We were up to 8% bonus. So the little environmental score that was showing up here, that was connected to this area of farmland, so I've got rid of that. So we don't own that now because that was bringing down our average score. So I sold that. It was worth nothing anyway, so we can always buy it back if we need to at any point. I don't know why we would need to own it. I'm not sure on that. But yeah, I got rid of that because it was having that effect on the environmental score. And I think partly field 16 having nothing done, which I didn't even notice we owned, was bringing it down. But yeah, field 50 is now also bringing it down. I did the soil sampling on field 15, which has increased that one a little bit. You can see soil sampling's full on there. But I think what I'm going to have to do with these is possibly re-sow them. So get a direct drill and just go over them again, re-sowing grass, and then get the pH set on them as well to try and bring that up a little bit. But that'll be a job for possibly over winter, and I'll probably do that in between like episodes one of the evenings. So we'll get the mower dropped down and we can start getting the grass cut. So we don't need to worry about swathing this one, we'll just drop it as we cut it, and then so when we ted it we're going to have to windrow it up anyway. We'll try and cut as much as we can. Just come round there. So I hope everyone's having a great week. This or had a great week. This video hopefully should be up on Friday if you're watching it. It's come out on the Friday. So far today it's been a lot cooler than it was. I think around about 10 degrees cooler here than it was last week. But it still feels a bit warm. But not too bad this evening. But we are forecast some thunderstorms, although they haven't appeared yet, so I might have to stop recording if we do get a thunderstorm and it gets a little bit too much in the background. So I'll try and get as much done as I can this evening. I might have to finish off recording the rest of this tomorrow. First pass round done. We've done a good few passes around the outside of the field now. We've still got this little bit left to do in the middle. I was going to cut across here, then we'll just start going up and down this top end of the field where it's a little bit straighter. What we'll do is we'll tidy up this little bit around the feed troughs and the water trough, and then we'll come back the other way so we're not driving over the grass we were about to cut, if we can help it. And then what we'll do, we'll finish off going around the headland this way round, but then we'll throw the grass away from the fence and the wall back into the field so we can pick it up a little bit easier when we come to bale it up and windrow it, so it's not right up against the fence. What a case, Bales, keep working our way across now, top and bottom, until we meet up in the middle again like we did previously. So again, we'll just keep going now from top to bottom. Until we're all done on here. So the yield's not looking too bad in some parts of the field. We're getting quite high yield. Now this section up here is obviously not so good. Just check what's that. No, we haven't done the soil sampling yet, but I imagine it's silty clay up this bit. Imagine this section of silty clay probably runs across this end of the grass field here, and then it looks like we've got a good strip of loam coming through where we're getting the high yield. But we will do the soil sampling on this. I may just pay for it to be done. Rather than lease the soil sample at the moment, because we will only have this one field to do. And I don't think it'll be worth leasing the soil sampler just to do one field. But that will help boost our score a little bit. So the higher we can get that score, the better bonus we can get when we sell our products or crops. And it can make a big difference. So especially when we come to sell our oats and canola that we harvested. So when we come to sell those over winter, when we can get the highest price for them anyway, that extra bonus, and get that as high as we possibly can by then, that could mean an extra 10% on top of what we get. Last little bit to cut in the centre of the field, and we'll quickly go around that outer pass of the headland, and then I'll go and get the other 3 fields cut, and then we can come back and get this one tedded. So we'll just do this last little tiny bit in the middle. I'll drop the... I think we need to switch the mower off. If I can remember how to do this. There we go. Couldn't work out what it was. So if we come round this direction, we can throw the grass back into that swath, so we're keeping it away from the fence and the walls as we go round. That way then when we do come to ted it, it's not going to flick out and get to a place where we can't get it with the windrow then. So I think with this field and the 3 other fields, we should get a decent amount of hay. Hopefully more than enough for what we need. I don't think the sheep particularly take too much to keep them going, and we won't get a huge amount of sheep to start with. Although I'm not sure what this the capacity of this sheep pasture is actually. Something we'll have a look at when we come to buy some. Just this last little bit round here, and I think there was a tiny little bit I missed, just down the bottom here as we went round. I'll just tidy up. So this tiny bit here. And that's this field all done. So we'll get that switched off and folded up. And while I'm here, I'm just going to quickly check the chickens. So they have started producing eggs. So we've got 335 pieces on there. So we got them towards the end of July, so it's not been a full month yet. So what's that? I think it's 1400 pieces for a full pallet. So just over a quarter of a pallet, I think that is, or close to being a quarter of a pallet. So that 350 pieces would be 25%. So if we can get a full pallet every couple of months, then they're worth about 2,500–3,000 for a pallet. So it's not going to be too bad. It just gives us that little bit of extra income every so often. Right, so I'm going to go and get the other 3 grass fields cut, and then we'll come back and get this one tedded. Okay, so we've just finished tedding this field, and that's the 3 fields near the main farm. All they're all cut and tedded, ready to be rowed up and baled. So we've still got the new field to do, which we'll go and do now. But before we head over there, we'll pick up the grass bale that we've got in the cow shed. Now that's the grass bale we did when we first did the silage bales. It was the first grass bale that came out of the bale. It was a little bit too big to wrap, so we've just had it stuck in the shed. But now we've actually got a use for it. And we get the bale spike on. I'm not sure what the capacity of the bale is. I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's a lot. I think it's about 5,000 litres or 5,500 litres, I think they are. But we may as well put it in the feed trough for the sheep and get it out of the way. Now 6,103 litres. Seems a bit of a unusual size. How big these silage bales are. Oh yes, because it's a... yeah, that's why we couldn't wrap it, because it's a larger bale. So it's, yeah, slightly more than the silage bales. But yeah, we'll take this with us, we'll put it in the feed trough, and then we'll get the grass ted. I'll get it turned over, and then we can get that raked up. Once we've got all the tedding done, then it's a case of getting all the bales done. We'll get the bales cleared off this field first. I think we're going to have to come round this way again. Not ideal, but it's a bit easier to drive straight through the gate than try and turn. Yeah, we'll get all the bales done on this one, then get them come. Then we can actually buy the sheep. We'll get some water down here to fill up the water trough, so they can start then doing their thing. Not sure which trough is which. Try this one first. Either that's the wrong side or the wrong trough. There we go. Right, so let's just see how much that's actually taken up in the feed trough. Oh yeah, until we get some sheep it won't show, will it? So I'm sure there's plenty more space for more grass or hay. Let's get this unfolded. Let's start it up and lower it down. And away we go, tedding this field. So I was having a think about while I was cutting this grass and doing the others about where to go after we've done the sheep. I did mention about buying field 10, which wouldn't be a bad field to get, but I think this possibly field 4 is cheaper. I'll quickly check. Value 128. Yeah, field 4s are going to be a lot more affordable. It's like 100,000 cheaper than field 10. So I think this one, although it's nearly half the size, and this one's going to be more of a an achievable goal to go for. And then there's the horse pasture. I don't know if we buy the horse pasture area and this area as well, we can sell the stuff and then utilise those fields. That's something we'll have to have a look at. Because I've got no intention of doing horses, but possibly look at seeing if we can buy this land and remove the equestrian jumps and things, and possibly the horse shed stables, and then we could use those 2 fields for either putting some greenhouses on them or something like that to further expand our farm productions and our sources of income. So it's definitely something we'll have a look at over winter, but I think, yeah, the field next to this one I think is more of a realistic option to go for next, as it's going to be a lot easier to get that money. And then also I want to try and look to get a slightly larger tractor, which then we can get a better mower set up in the future, and then larger tillage equipment when we need to do any tilling on our fields. So if we do decide to get a planter, probably not going to be able to afford a direct drill or a direct planter like some of the more expensive in-game ones. I think it's the Kinsey and John Deere. Yeah, they're very, very pricey. So we're going to have to get a disc harrow. We've got actually, I've completely forgot we've still got the disc harrow, which I can't think what size that is, 5 metre or so. But yeah, having a larger horsepower tractor will definitely help make things a bit easier in the future. Right, last little bit of hay to ted on this field, and that's all the tedding done. So what we need to do next is go and swap over for the windrower, and we'll get this all raked up. Before we do that though, I just want to have a look at building something back at the farmyard if there's space, so we can get that up and running. So I've downloaded off ModHub. There's a small dairy production building. It's like a container dairy, so it's not very big, and I think it's only around about 10,000. So I'll just go and have a quick look. I think there's a small area we may possibly have to fit it in, and then we can use some of our milk to produce cheese, which again will give us that little bit of extra money every now and then when we've got a few pallets to sell. I'll get that switched off because that's this field all done. And we'll just head back up to the yard. So there's, I think it's near where we've just parked the trailers at the moment, there's a small corner of land that I've had to go flattening out a little bit. I thought it was there was loads of rubbish on there, like rubble and stuff, but it's the texture of the actual ground. So I've flattened it out a little bit, and I think the container should fit on there. I just need to see where the access points are and where the pallets all spawn. So if we can get that to fit, we'll build that, then we'll transfer over some milk from the cow shed so that can start producing. So it's just up by where this manure spreader is. First we'll get this dropped off. Looks like I need to move the mower as well because I've blocked the rake in. Get that load down and get this disconnected. So cables, PTO, drop that off. I never even looked where the windrow was. And I'll put the mower away. Should just be able to drag this out of the way without the PTO attached. Although I think attaching the cables would have been a little bit better as well. I seem to be struggling to pull it a little bit. Let's just drop that off there. And then we can get the rake on. Actually, before we connect that up, because we're gonna, if we can fit this thing in. So I've leveled off this little area a little bit. So what we're going to do is use the there we go, looking for the meadow grass. So if you're not aware of this, if I'm not sure what the console controls are for the controller, but if you're on PC, if you use any of these and then right click, you can delete all the grass, and it does look like those things may not disappear though, because they're not being removed. So I think they may be bushes and objects that have been placed in giant sedge that we can't remove. Which may be a little bit annoying. I think we could probably still build it there, but I don't think we can get rid of those. Looking at it, let's try see if we can do it. Yeah, it's not letting me do anything there. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's probably because I'm standing in the way. Might help if I move out the way. Yeah, sometimes on some of this stuff, if it doesn't delete when you change the paint texture, if you actually put meadow grass on first, or one of the bushes, and then you can delete it. It's a bit weird how it works. Yeah, we're having to paint meadow grass and then we can delete it. Most of this we should be able to get rid of. So we can see what we're doing a bit better. And then we'll just paint in some gravel texture. Let's go for that one. It's not quite as bright. And then we want plants, or get rid of that one and that. And what we'll do, because I don't think we can get rid of that strip of green unless we raise up the ground. See if we can actually bring that up a little bit. Now I'll try and smooth that out. Yeah, I think it's not quite going to have it. But we'll leave it like that. We'll just have to blend it in a little bit better. Oh, I've just accidentally got rid of that bit now I didn't want to get rid of. Oh, these landscape tools at times don't do what I want them to do. Let's see if we can bring that. There we go. Level that out a bit. I think that's about as good as we're going to get, I think. So difficult to do at the edges of the roads because it's difficult to get it to blend in. You either come up too much and it covers the road, or it's not quite. It's not very easy to get it to exact. So we want productions, and this one we want is the farm dairy There are two versions. So there's this cheaty one, which has got a ramped up storage capacity and production rate. And what we also need to do is turn on the interactive zone markers so I can see where the pallets spawn. So production, so there we go. So it looks like pallets spawn at this end, deliveries at that end, which is a bit annoying, and then the access for the menus at this end. So if we get this up here, I need to just level that ground out a little bit back. I think that should fit there nicely. And got plenty of access from the right hand end. To get in there, and then we can access that, and then we should get plenty of space to get the pallets up. So what we will do is just see if we can blend this road in a bit. It's not been difficult because you can't access the toll under the road. Even though I've got paint and terraform everywhere, it's not quite working, and I don't think we can change that texture either, so we'll just have to deal with it as it is. See if I can get rid of that little bit of grass though, because I don't want grass growing in the road. Let's try this with a circle one. And blend that in a little bit more. So it doesn't look such a sharp edge. Oh. Oh, this is stop going on the road. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit on there. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. Keep messing around, just making it worse. Alright, let's turn off the interactive zone markers again, because I don't like the look of them. So I'm not sure what the capacities or production rates are on this. So it's 960 cycles per month for butter, 2,400 for cheese, which actually seems quite a lot. That's going to be 4,800 litres of cheese per month, which, yeah, it's a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. Chocolate, obviously, we're not going to do because we don't have sugar. And then raw milk is, you can produce raw milk to sell. So you get I think it's a 50% increase in price for selling raw milk. I don't know if it adds that. Check the so it's the first time I've actually used this mod. I don't know if raw milk now shows up as a, yeah, there's no selling points available. So I don't know if you just produce it in here and then set it to automatically sell, or whether there's a sell point for it included with the mod. It doesn't look like there is. It must do it off the average of the base game milk price when you automatically sell. So what we'll do is fill up our milk tanker, and then we'll transfer some milk over to the new building. Then we can set off the production for some cheese. And then we'll go and get the hay all raked up. So we currently have got 20,000 litres of milk in the cow pasture. So I've no idea what the storage capacity is on this container. I'm presuming as there's two versions it's not going to be very big. Oh, so 21,000 litres, so we gained a little bit since I last checked. Let's just have a look. What's the... It looks like it's probably 10,000 litres capacity. Yep, so we'll activate the cheese. So it's going to produce 4,800 litres per month as long as we keep it topped up. And it will use, what's that, 7,200 litres of milk per month. So that's not a bad amount, as long as we'll have to top it up every month, just so there's enough in there to keep it going, so we're not losing any production. It does now mean though I should have filled up the water trough on the sheep pasture first, because now we've got milk in here. Can't transfer back into that milk tank. So let's drop this off. Yeah, so it does now mean we can't fill up the water on the sheep. We may have to sell that 11,000 litres. Just to get that trailer emptied, so we're not wasting it. Let's get this hooked up. Right, and we can go and get the grass raked up. We're just finishing off the baling, so I've got all the other 3 fields all baled up, so we've just got this one strip left to do on here. The first field, field 8 I did, we got 20 bales just off that one field. I think we're just over 50 now. So yeah, 50 plus the one on the back, so currently 51 bales in total for the hay. So we've not done too bad off these, well, 4 fields now. So that should give us plenty of hay to for the cows and all the sheep that we'll be getting. Right, so I think we are pretty much done. Maybe a tiny little bit we'll just tidy up. I'm going to get the baler dropped off, we'll get the bale trailer hooked up. So we'll get these bales loaded up and moved out the way. I think we are pretty much done. There may be a few tiny little bits, but they'll get cleaned up when we sort this field out. So we'll drop this one off in the feed trough. There we go. So yeah, that's 52 bales in total. So yeah, we just need to get them all moved out of the way, and we can buy our first load of sheep. We'll have to sell the milk out the milk tanker, so then we can fill that up with water. And then we can top up the sheep's water as well. So we've got the massey down here with the bale trailer, and I think we've got 12 bales left on this field to put onto the trailer. I've fully filled up the feed trough. So that one bale just in front of it's a partial bale now, so I'll probably just leave that one there so it can continue filling up the feed trough as it empties. I had to put quite a few bales in there, so I don't know how big the capacity is, but it must be about 70,000 litres I'd say. I'm sure I'll put about a good 5-6 bales in, plus the grass we put in there earlier. So the next step is load up all these straw bales so we can get them out of the way. I'll get all the bales loaded up off the other fields. I'll get those moved into the shed ready for next time. So they're all stacked up in the cow shed waiting to be used. So once we've done this, we'll go and take the milk tanker to the store with the best place for milk, and we'll sell that. Then we'll fill that up with water to get the water trough filled up, and then we can buy I don't know how many sheep we can afford. I'm not sure how expensive they are. And they're about 500 or something like that for the 8-month-old ones. So we'll go for those rather than the cheap ones, so we can start getting some reproduction or more production straight away on those. So if we've got enough money, I want to try and get at least 50, or probably 50 at most, to be honest. I think on the other maps I'm finding the 60 sheep in the base game pasture that's full. I think it's about 60-65 sheep produce quite a lot of wool. So I think 50 to start us off will be a good number. So what I don't want to do is get too many and find out we're struggling for hay to feed them and the cows. Drop that one off. And next time we should be into September. I'm hoping we can get that contract on field 21, I think, for barley. Just to give us a little bit more barley then for the chickens, possibly. Yeah, just enough to top up what we've got for the chickens. One thing I did mean to do was try and work out roughly how much they consumed over a month, but I forgot to check how much was in the trough when we skipped through to August. Just to roughly try and work out how much we'll need until next year's harvest. Right, so I'll get the last of these bales loaded up, and that'll be this field cleared, and then we can go and sort out the water and then get our sheep. We've got the 11 bales all loaded up, so it's 82,621 litres that was left on that field. So we'll just leave these on the trailers for now, so I'll get these put away next time. So what we need to do is drop off this trailer and then hook up the milk tanker, and then we'll go and take that to sell, and we can get that filled up with water. I don't know if there's a water fill point up here. Yeah, that's one thing I'm not sure about. May have to build one. Don't know if that's an actual trigger point or it's just a decorative thing, but we'll just drop that off here. And get this hooked up again. What we will do first is I'll just top up the top up the container if there's any space in it, and we'll also see if there's any more milk. I need a little bit, so just check that before we take this. You can fit a few litres in there. And while that's doing that, I'll just check where the current best price for milk is. I wish you could do like you could in FS19, where you could click on buying and it'd auto kind of sort them in the highest price at the top. So Garden Centre 1306 is currently the best price, which I think is over here. Yeah. So we'll head over there and we'll get this 10,900, was that 69 litres sold. So we'll try and find a way we can get some water. I think could possibly get some from the stream. Don't know if this tank will fill up from in there, but we can have a look, see if we can get some from down there. Right, we're up at the garden centre, so we can sell this milk if we can get in here. We should get around about what, 12,000-13,000 for this. One thing I do actually want to do before we sell it is, one thing I forgot to do is this field 31. We go into here and I wanted to see, oh, it's quite expensive actually. Just see how much it was to buy the soil samples, which will just boost up the score a little bit. That's going to be 2,975. I don't know if that's how much it's going to be if we was to lease the soil sampler. Not sure what category that's under. What's the leasing cost? 867 plus then you'd have to send off the soil samples and pay for those. So wrong one. Yeah, we'll just buy the soil information. Let's boost up to 54, which is not great, but it's something we needed to do anyway. So that's now put us up at 72. So yeah, these two fields are still bringing our average down, so I'm going to have to overwinter try and boost that. I was hoping that may have pushed it up to 8% for the bonus, which seems to have stayed at 7. So that's 14,340 plus 957 for the reward. Oh, and just spotted a toy. Well, paid for a third of the soil sampling, and I think I've just seen another one hiding around here, a little pig. Well, that's almost covered the soil sampling. Right, we'll get back, we'll get this filled up with water, and then we can buy our sheep. And I think I've just spotted another one. A combine. Oh, that definitely has paid for the soil sampling. Oh, I keep spotting these. There's too many around here. Oh, there's just spotted enough one just down here. That's not one there as well, is it? Oh, that was a profitable trip down to the garden centre. Some milk sold and a few collectibles. So yeah, we'll head back, we'll get this filled up with water, and then we can get the water trough filled up and then actually buy our sheep. So that'll give us the wool production. So we'll have wool, cheese, milk and eggs being produced now. Then we've got the crops to sell as well over winter. So we've got only small amounts, but we've got a few extra sources of income that will come in every so often and help pay for the bills and fuel, wages. We're back down by the main farm, and I'm just going to see if we can fill up with water from the stream down here. We go through this way, there's a section where we can access it quite easily. It does say do not drive too deeply in the water when you drive through it, so assuming it is actually a water plane, which whether this tanker's trigger will pick up on the actual water. Because I find sometimes the tanker, the trigger's a little bit too high, it doesn't get in the water enough to pick up on it, but we'll soon find out. So there's all the rest of the bales, I'll get those moved next time. One thing there we go, we are filling. One thing we do really need to look at doing is sorting out the slurry, because we are almost full. We've not got much space left in the slurry tank. So we've got two options: that we could get a tanker to take it down to the BJ and sell it. I think it accepts slurry, but I don't think the price is particularly good. slurry. Yeah, it's only 54 per 1,000 litres, and because we don't own the biogas plant, we won't get any benefit from the production or like the processing of that. And so the other option is we get a spreader and use it on our grass fields. I think that probably will be the better option. Probably shouldn't have filled this up fully. I struggle to get up to the sheep pasture now. Even if we can only get one field done with the slurry, it does save us a bit of money on fertiliser. The other thing I think we may need to look at, because 100,000 litres isn't a huge amount of storage capacity, and slurry doesn't go very far, so even if we got the slurry spreader, if we can only ever store 100,000 litres at any one time in the cow pasture, that's not going to go very far on our fields. So I think we may need to look at one of the mods where we can increase the capacity of slurry, because as we start getting more and more cows, that it's going to go up more, and I don't want to get to a point where we're not getting any slurry at all. So I'll have a look for next time and see what mods there are to extend the storage capacity of the slurry. The base game ones are a little bit too big to fit in anywhere. I think the smallest one of those is like 60,000, which is a little bit too much for what we've got at the moment. There may be some alternative options available on the mod hub. Could definitely do with that larger tractor, especially for pulling this tanker when it's full. The Massey does struggle a little bit. I may need to do 2 trips, but we'll just put the one in for now, and then I'll finish fully topping this up after. It does look like we need to be in front of it. Oh, there's that filling. While that's filling, we'll go and we'll find the gate. Go and buy some sheep. So we'll just go for. We'll go for these ones. Was that Steinschaft? I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Select those, and we want. We'll go with 50. That's 26,944 in total. Transport fees 2,500. So total capacity is 200, which is not too bad. There's our first 50 sheep on the farm. That leaves us with 39,000, which may go towards getting a new seed drill, because we're getting to the point now we're going to start having to look at getting our fields drilled for next year. So there's our 50 sheep, so we've got 46,000 litres of grass in there, which is the total capacity, in there 18,000 litres of water. So that'll take a little bit while to get their productivity up, but by next time they should have started producing wool. So yeah, there's our sheep. We've also got the dairy in for egg production. So we'll leave that there for this episode. I've made a little bit more progress on the farm. I've got some more livestock. So next time I'll say I want to try and get the contract on field 21 if it pops up next month, so we can do the harvesting of the barley in that field and hopefully get a little bit more excess. And we'll also start having a look at getting some barley sown in our own field, and then linseed. I don't know if we can do that just yet. That may be something we'll do a bit later in the year or in spring, but we'll have a look at that next time. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. I've got more Farm Simulator 22 Let's Play videos coming up very soon. So a big thank you again for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.